Silence is one of my favorite tools to use. It's personal, it gives room to breathe, time to think, and it literally sucks all of the air out of my lungs as I'm focusing in. However, this video journal is about how to use silence to emphasize emotions found in horror, such as abandonment, creepiness, grief, and any other emotions, without the silence ending in a jump scare. Before writing a horror scene, it's paramount to understand who the character is as a writer to develop true horror scenes. These horror scenes shouldn't just be scary for the heck of being scary. These are critical moments for us to understand the character. The benefits of understanding the character, we know what is at risk to the character and what internal demons is the character facing. By knowing the risk and the internal demons, we can take advantage of them to develop horror scenes. Teddy, whose real name is Andrew Ladies, is a patient at Ashcliff Hospital. He is under a role-play simulation for the purpose to come to terms with the truth that he refuses to accept. If he fails to come to terms with the truth one last time, he risks lobotomy. Teddy is in Ashcliff for murdering his wife Dolores after discovering she murdered their 3 children. He refuses to accept Dolores could do this, so he blames himself for the murders. Another internal demon Teddy faces is at DACHAU during World War III. Dr. Colley acknowledges that Teddy was at DACHAU, but may have never killed anyone. So we may never know what really happened, but we do know that Teddy believes he killed enough people that it traumatized him. He has an issue with developing this monstrous alter ego of himself. The Hush Lady represents Teddy's risk of undergoing lobotomy. She has almost no hair, her eyes are bloodshot, and the scar on her neck is visible. Being that nothing in this film is random, she was definitely a violent patient who is now lobotomized. Teddy interprets this as shut up about everything or you'll end up like her. Although it's not a complete silence because we can hear the background sound, Martin Scorsese silences the conversation between Chuck and Deputy Warden and focuses on the Hush Lady.
It's a hospital for people our society knowledge.
The scene follows the Rule of 3. The Rule of 3 is a storytelling and comedic technique that presents a trio of events. It's the minimum amount of events that allows the audience to recognize a pattern without the feeling of the number of events is overdone.
I'm so scared in the country because it's just quiet and it's just mystery and trees and darkness. I live in New York City, I feel perfectly safe there. I'm surrounded by murderers and child molesters and Jews. All right.
There are many ways to use it, but in a stand-up comedic structure, the first two sets the spectrum. Murderers and child molesters are on one side of the spectrum of criminals that don't make us feel safe, which is the irony of the joke. And then on the third one, he places Jews in that spectrum who are not dangerous, and it contrasts the first two. In Shutter Island, this scene, they're all in the same spectrum of patience. But the third one is much, much farther in the spectrum, which makes it feel like the first two are in the opposite side of the spectrum. The first patient we see is the guy raking who waves at Teddy. The second patient is an older man who's trimming the bushes and just freezes. The third event is the Hush Lady. Teddy looks at a painting on a wall that again shows his fear of what he might undergo in Ashcliff, lobotomy. It's important that the audience clearly understands Teddy's fear, so Martin Scorsese beats it to the audience's head. I have this clip where Chris Rock explains the logic behind repeating a premise.
And then Chris does it in a way that's even more blatant because he'll even keep repeating if the premise is, women can't live without money or whatever it is, all your chauvinist bullshit things that you say. He'll keep repeating it over and over again. Women can't go down lifestyle. That's his thing. So he said it to you too. Women can't go down lifestyle. And then he'll explain it from 50 angles and he'll say, women can't go down in lifestyle. They can't. They can't go down. And then he'll explain.
But he has to do that because that's a richer idea than they're used to hearing from a comedian.
A lot of comedians have great jokes and they don't like, why isn't this working? It's not working because the audience does not understand the premise.
That's right.
So I just like, I'm going to make sure, if I set this premise up right, this joke will always work.
How you get into silence is also important. In the Hush Lady scene, the conversation fades out, pulling your attention to it so much that Teddy has to look twice.
It's a hospital for people out of society knowledge.
In the painting scene, it's bold. You're being slammed into its attention.
A moral fusion between law and order and clinical care.
Pardon me, Doc, a what between what and what?
Teddy recounts a false memory in DACHAU. In his flashback, Teddy's daughter is in the pile of dead bodies, and he remembers killing German soldiers, even though Dr. Cawley notes Teddy has never killed anyone in DACHAU.
You were at Dachau, but you may not have killed any guards.
Teddy creates his monster image because he blames himself for everything. To create a memory that becomes your character's internal demons, silence is the best choice because it emphasizes the reality of the horror, whereas music will dramatize the horror. There's no right or wrong on this, it's just what tools you want to use for that scene. The moments leading up to the guards follow the rule of three: the commandant who tried killing himself, the pile of dead bodies, and then the guards shooting. When the scene reaches the guards, this scene also follows the rule of three structure. One German soldier runs away, and an American soldier shoots him dead. This causes a startle within the rest of the German soldiers. Teddy shoots a warning shot on the floor. The American soldiers panic. The music abruptly cuts when all the American soldiers start shooting. Obviously, in the real world, the American soldiers would shoot the German soldiers roughly around the same time. However, filmmaking is about manipulating reality to get an emotional response. The costumes, the makeup, even the dialogue is non-realistic.
Have you been circumcised?
Yeah, I have. Why?
Well, your doctor must have cut a big portion of it off.
No, he was a good doctor.
Good doctors make mistakes too. That's why they buy insurance.
Hey, don't worry. I got enough. It's big.
I want bigger.
This 20 seconds of shooting as a camera trucks right makes the scene feel overwhelmingly horrific. And what sells this scene is the silence of music because it emphasizes the reality of the horror.
No, please, God. Please, God.
Teddy admits the truth of what led him to insanity. This scene is another example of how silence emphasizes the reality of horror. Where this is different than DACHAU is how it led up to its silence. The music in the DACHAU scene stops immediately, smacking you in the face with its violence. In this scene, the music stops with that last note, drawing you into the horror, not knowing what to expect.
Baby, why are you all wet?
If you like this video, it would mean a lot to give it a thumbs up and a subscribe. It helps the channel grow. I make videos that break down elements of filmmaking, from shot lists to video journals. I also have a short film you guys can check out called Frostbite on My Dick. It's about a necrophiliac who struggles to keep his relationship alive. Thank you, and I'll see you guys next time.